First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to raise my brother-in-law's kids? I, 28 female, have been married for 4 years. My husband, 29, has a brother who is 2 years older than him. Let's call him Ben. Ben has 2 kids, 6-year-old and 9 months old, with a woman called Amy. When Ben was still with Amy, he was an a-hole towards her. He promised to marry her but never did. Instead, he cheated on her multiple times. So, about 2 years ago, Ben was caught cheating again, and this was Amy's last straw and they broke up. I should add, Ben knew Amy was a few weeks pregnant at this point. Amy, who had been living with her mother, decided to move closer to the city to look for work. Soon enough, she found herself a boyfriend and moved in with him. This caused Ben to become enraged. He threw another online tantrum, saying he didn't want his kids being raised by a stranger, and even threatened to stop supporting the kids financially if they continue living with the boyfriend. Amy resorted to sending her kids back to live with her mother. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, Amy's mom had a stroke and is now incapable of caring for herself, much less the kids. So now, I found out that Ben asked my husband if we can raise his 2 kids for him. He says he doesn't have time to do it because he has to work as a teacher and come home to mark schoolwork. He says since I work remotely, I'm the only one capable of taking care of the kids. I refused, and I'll give my reasons. 1. I already have 2 kids to take care of, who are under the age of 3. 2. I don't want to have to spend any more time with Ben than I already do. He's a misogynist, stupid brat. The fact that he thought it would be okay to speak to my husband only about us raising his kids proves my point. 3. We have very different life views and parenting strategies, and raising his kids would interfere with my autonomy in raising mine. For example, I bought my son a play stove, and Ben made a lot of unnecessary comments about the toy being for girls in front of my son. Thankfully, my husband told him to back off, but this is just one example of why I think he's a bad influence for a child. 4. I think this whole situation is because of Ben's incapability to grow up. I think he could care for the kids himself, but he wants to live the bachelor life and continue drinking with his friends instead of raising his own kids. This is why my husband disagrees. I told him I might have been willing to raise the kids if Ben and Amy were dead, or if they were incapable of caring for the kids because of something they can't control. But I'm not willing to raise them just so the parents can do other things. This made my husband say that I'm punishing the kids because of the parents' mistakes. He says he feels that both Ben and Amy are not good enough parents because Ben drinks too much and Amy introduced the kids to a boyfriend she had only known for a short time. He says if you see kids suffering, you should be willing to step in. Even if the parents are at fault, the kids are innocent. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I'm sorry, why can't their mother take them again? Because he threatened to stop financially supporting them? So, she sent them away. What? She'd rather live with her boyfriend than her kids? She can't find her job in her hometown and she says she can't afford to rent on her own where she works. Not the a-hole. That's a huge life shift for your entire household, including your children. Amy should be looking into a legal custody arrangement so she can get child support and have her kids back. Both parents are the a-holes here and have chosen their preferred lifestyle over the living human beings they created. Not the a-hole. Tell your husband he's delusional if he thinks you will step into this fire pit of being a free nanny and babysitter for his brother. You'd have 4 children under the age of 6 under your 24/7 care, with their father's looming presence judging you from the background. The only way I think this would be in any way possible would be if Ben and Amy signed away their parental rights and you'd have no contact with them. Because otherwise, Ben would be lording over you about the kids nonstop. You know, like he'd be calling the shots while you do all the work. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for losing it when my husband called CPS on my sister? My female 33, sister, female 28, is a single mother with 2 kids aged 7 and 4. Ever since her ex left, I did everything I could to help out with the kids, like watching them a few times a week while she works, and coming over to her house to help her to get things done, like fixing stuff and cleaning. My husband voluntarily took part as well, and he'd go over to help with a few things. He said he wanted to and was happy to help. No one made him go or even ask him to do any of the things he did. Lately, he started complaining whenever my sister brings the kids so I could watch them for a few hours. He'd say that it started affecting our lives by not going out and meeting with family and friends and having to watch the kids instead. Thing is, he was free to go hang out with his friends. I was fine and willing to help with the kids since I work from home and seeing how hard she works. He brought it up again and said that my sister clearly can't handle being a single mother and needed to stop counting on us for help. I thought he was being mean by making those comments. I told him he doesn't have to help if he felt uncomfortable, and he stopped talking about it. Last week, he threw a fit when my sister brought the kids so I could watch them for a few hours, and he said that I was being a doormat for my sister and that we weren't obligated to do the hard work for raising her kids for her. He left the house, then came home in the evening. The next day, I got a call from my sister, and she was crying, saying someone called CPS on her and had an agent come over to her house for a surprise visit. First, she said it might have been her in-laws, but later my husband told me he anonymously called CPS on her because he thought that this would be a wake-up call for her to stop counting on us for help and step up as a mother. I was absolutely livid. I lost it and yelled at him. He argued that my sister shouldn't be freaking out as long as she had nothing to worry about. But this was huge. The amount of stress she and the kids must have felt, I can't imagine. I have a bad history with CPS when I was young. He did something awful just because he thought she wasn't good enough and needed some type of warning to get her life together. I yelled at him because no matter how he thought it wasn't a big deal, calling CPS is huge and just wrong. I was so angry with him I couldn't even talk to my sister after what he did. I talked to her and she was feeling upset and frustrated and shaken up. She doesn't know my husband was the one who made a call, and I feel horrible thinking about it. I'm so mad at him despite him apologizing for what he did. Just to clarify, I watch the kids 3 times a week, till noon and sometimes from noon till the evening. No more than 6 hours. I'd visit my husband's family during the weekend. That's when I'd usually go out. It's not like I'm neglecting him or anything, so I don't know why he behaves like this. I had no idea. It never occurred to me that he'd do something like this. There's no excuse for this. It's just so awful and unacceptable. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. CPS is not there to waste resources that could have been used on families that actually need the help because he is immature. Your husband needs to get his head out from his behind. Can OP report her husband to CPS for making false/malicious reports? Yes, as he obviously needs some kind of warning to not be a douche. Maybe a visit from the police for filing a false charge would make him step up and be a responsible man by minding his own business. Not the a-hole. It is actually insane that he called CPS because your sister gets you to babysit sometimes. What a horrible experience for your sister, and what a waste of CPS limited resources. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for saying I miss it being just me and my dad? My mom died when I, 16 female, was 6. My dad remarried when I was 11. He fell in love hard and fast with his wife and they got married 6 months later. She had 3 kids ages 6, 7, and 9 at the time. It was a lot for me. Everything is so much more. Things are louder and busier and there are so many more people, and I was never excited like they were. But I never wanted to say anything, so I kept my mouth shut and let things happen for my dad, who was so happy. On the inside, I was hurt though. I was hurt that my dad seemed to be so eager to leave everything behind when he got remarried. We no longer did pizza after school on Friday. We no longer watched something together on Sundays before bed. Everything had to include everyone, and when I would ask to do something just with my dad, he would say no and looked confused. One time, my dad asked why I was so eager to do stuff with him, but never cared about family time, and I said because I missed him. He said I never lost him. Then, back in October last year, they put us all into family therapy, because for one of my classes, we had to design something in computer class. I was given a family tree, did the family tree of my dad, mom, and me, and then grandparents, etc. My teacher showed my dad at the PD conference because of how good it was, and he and his wife freaked out about the steps not being included, and so family therapy happened. First therapist was a dud. Second one didn't make anyone feel comfortable, and then when we were supposed to start with a current therapist, COVID hit, and we couldn't do them from home, so we started in July or August. Can't remember when exactly now. Then she was good, and so I opened up. But I don't think they handled it well. 4 sessions in, I was asked why I was distant. I admitted I found it hard. I felt like everyone else was so happy, and I didn't want to rock the boat. But it was too much for me, and I missed when it was just me and my dad, because that's when it was most comfortable for me. She asked what I missed about it. I said it was the time I got with my dad, the fact it always felt like home, and it has felt less like home since more people joined the family, and I have felt bad about it. But it was a lot going from 3 to 2 for so many years, and then we went up to 6 overnight, and it was all so fast. They were so eager and started calling me their sister and daughter right away, but I didn't feel that way, and then my dad stopped doing our stuff together, and I felt like I lost him. My dad said he was hurt I wasn't happier for him, and that I didn't give it more of a chance before rejecting them. My stepmom was hurt that after 5 years I hadn't warmed up to her and her kids enough to feel like they were part of my home. The therapist said how I felt was valid, and asked why they felt like what I said was bad. And we have been going around in circles since. Am I the a-hole? I feel like I should have stayed quiet because now they're just mad at me. Now for the top comments. Oh honey, you know you are not the a-hole, but big hugs here. Exactly. I personally think it's really important that AITA is a safe space for children and young adults to come and ask things that might be obvious when you are older. It is very clear that there are a lot of minors here who don't have a very good home life, and if we can give them just a shred of validation, then that is good. I am very proud of Opie for being so good at voicing her feelings without projecting it all into dislike or hate towards her dad or steps. It is not okay for a father to disregard her child like this. Even if he is a good father to all his children, then he has to recognize that different children have different needs. Her step-siblings were already 3, so 4 doesn't seem so much different, but Opie never had siblings before. Siblings can be hard work, exactly because of this. It takes a whole bunch of compromise that you learn gradually. It isn't just something you transition effortlessly into. I just wanted to add that if your dad and stepmother are behaving differently towards you after your therapy sessions, this should be brought to the therapist's attention immediately. I'm a shrink. Fallout from joint sessions can and does happen. This seriously destroys safety and undermines the treatment. It's fine for them to be angry. It's not okay for them to act on it. Doing so is a form of punishment applied to suppress your healthy expressions of your feelings. And I know this sounds backwards and strange, but sometimes, and I say sometimes, parents who start crying in response to their kid being honest about their experiences also are acting on anger. And 10 times out of 10 kids stop talking. The tears are a way of shutting their kids up. I think it would be helpful if you also ask the family therapist about a referral for you to individual therapy. Might help to save your own space to get support. Not the a-hole. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for leaving the call when my brother announced that his girlfriend is pregnant? My brother and I do not get on. When we were younger, he'd go out of his way to make my life a living hell. To my parents' credit, they did tell him off for it when they caught him, but they both worked long hours and didn't have energy to deal with our arguments. This continued into adulthood. He was salty that he failed his college course the first time around. There was a bad argument in our family a while ago, and I kid you not. It all started because I refused to decorate my brother's living room. I won't go into too much detail, but he wanted a pretty hefty discount. I said no, and he threw a tantrum. You really need to meet my brother to understand just how bad he is. But hopefully this post will do it some justice. Instead of being a grown-up and talking to me, he decided to hook up with my toxic ex-girlfriend and the mother of my child. Due to the rules here, I can't go into a lot of detail about what she was like, but she was not a nice person. She never really bonded with our son when he was born, and I was left to do everything by myself. She eventually walked out on us and refused to have any contact with our son. She'll post on Facebook now and then about her beautiful baby boy to get sympathy votes, but that's about it. I have been a single dad for almost 3 years now, and I absolutely adore my son. But it hurts to think that one day he might question why his mom didn't want anything to do with him. How am I supposed to explain that to him? Anyway, it bothered me when my brother told me they'd hooked up together. It hurt even more when he started dating her. It had taken me so long to get over what she did to me and my child, and now my own brother was bringing her back into my life? Yesterday, we had a family video call. Parents are high risk, and we're not taking any chances. When my brother decided to announce that he and my ex were expecting, I just froze. I didn't know what to do or think. I could feel myself starting to cry a little bit, and it got a bit harder to breathe. Eventually, I decided to just congratulate them, and then made up some lie about needing to put my son down for a nap and left. I received a bunch of messages from my brother and his girlfriend telling me that I stole their thunder. After I left, my parents and some other family members started worrying if I was okay and not really focusing on their news. My uncle told me that I should have just been a man and stuck it out instead of making excuses to get out of it. After all, it was expected that our kids would be raised around each other. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have left the call, but at the same time, it would have been worse if I'd stayed and had a full-blown panic attack in front of everyone. Some of the family members are split and have argued that I won't be able to avoid my brother and his family forever, but others believe I was in the right to leave the situation. I don't know what to think. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I think you handled the situation as well as you can. Also, really? Your ex is going to go and date your brother and have a child with him, yet not take responsibility for the child with you? That's really messed up. Thank you. And yes, she's not a very nice person. I honestly doubt she ever really thinks about our little boy. She's missing out though. He's an amazing boy. Not the a-hole. Your kid is going to grow up with half-siblings but think they're cousins. His aunt will actually be his mom who wants nothing to do with him. And they're trying to make you think you're the a-hole here? Nope. No way. No how. Nil. None. No. You are totally in the right here, and you need to protect your kid from that toxic mess of your family. Honestly, the way you worded it made me realize even more just how messed up the situation is. My son is going to think his mom is his aunt. This is a mess. Thank you though. I feel harsh saying it, but it might be healthier for your son to not have any contact with his egg donor, uncle, or half-sibling/cousin. Once he's old enough to understand how messed up the situation is, which will happen, he's going to have a lot of emotions about it. If he has an entire childhood of spending time with his cousin and aunt, only to learn that she was the mother who abandoned him, but she somehow loves her other child enough to be a mom to them, that's going to mess him up for years. It's going to hurt no matter what, but you have the chance to shield him from an entire childhood of very painful lies. You're definitely not the a-hole. And anyone who thinks you should be okay with this kind of betrayal against your son is a person you don't need to waste any consideration on. Also, reiterating what many have said before, your son is entitled to child support. It's your job to make sure he gets it. Edit. I just wanted to say thank you first of all for all the support. I fell asleep last night and woke up to so many kind and supportive comments. A lot of people have been asking how my parents feel about this. They aren't happy, but they don't have the energy to deal with all the hassle my brother would cause. They actually cut him off for a while when he started dating my ex, but he phoned them constantly and again can't go into much detail, but he said he'd do something not so good. They keep him at arm's length, but I have told them not to cut contact because of me. If they want to cut contact on their own accord, then that's fine, but I do not want to be the reason that they have to deal with his tantrums. The rest of the family, for the most part, weren't happy about it, but accepted it, or pretended to, when they started getting a bit more serious. My uncle, who told me to be a man, thought it was funny. That's just the kind of person he is. I think as hard as it might be, I am going to cut off contact with my brother and ex. As a lot of people pointed out, not for my sake, but for the sake of my son. I don't want to put him through all that. Sorry I can't reply to all your comments, but I've been trying to read them all. Thanks again, Reddit. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.